Huh?
Bias.
Well, we talked about bias. That's not what got us up in our fields, though. What got some of us a little upsetty in class? There was something very specific, not just treatments. Y'all took a thing that afterwards we were upsetty because we didn't do great on it. The DYU, the demonstrate your understanding. So remember, it's not a test, right? It's not worth nearly as much as a test. It's only 10% of your overall grade.
47 on it, man.
Yeah, not great, right? Okay, but remember, I always want us to remember, is that demonstrate your understanding grade done? Is that static? Is it over? No. Right? Like, so it feels like it's worth a good bit right now because we haven't had that many grades and I can't put categories into the grade book. I just have to do things off of points. But at the end of the semester, or into the 9 weeks, it's only going to be 10% of your overall grade, right? And then we took that DYU on, I think, Wednesday, right? And then what did we do on Thursday? We talked about it. We went over it in small groups, and you asked questions, and you improved your understanding, right? So remember, the priority in my class, it's not when you learn the concepts, it's what? That you learn it, right? I don't care when, I care that. Okay, so you're always going to have more opportunities to show me your understanding of these ideas. One of those things is definitely going to be on the test. But, genuine question, before the demonstrated understanding, show of hands, who of us did our check your understandings? Even half of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 out of 21 of us did check your understandings to prepare for demonstrate your understandings. How many of us completed every check your understanding question before the DYU? Okay, so we need to be working on these things. What I found in fourth block on Friday was that some of us didn't realize how useful those were. I didn't want to teach ahead because I was missing half the class because they were either in color guard or football team or whatever. So I had them work on some check your understanding questions. I want to give y'all the same opportunity to work for about half an hour or so on check your understanding. The way we're going to do it is you're going to get to choose what you want to work on. And so here's how I'm going to break this down. Here are the major concepts that we have studied so far that are in check your understanding. Now remember, check your understanding, I just mean the Frere models that have the practice questions and the extra practice set of questions that I handed out on Friday. So here's the major concepts we have studied so far. First, I'm going to group together the types of data. What are the types of data? The 2 different types of data. Proficiency scale might help if we're not sure. Quantitative and categorical. Guys, I need us actively thinking. Walter, you're staring at cards instead of that proficiency scale that we need to be thinking about. All right, categorical versus quantitative. And what are the 2 types of questions that we talked about? It's also one of the Frere models for your check your understanding. Statistical questions versus non-statistical questions. Okay, that's going to be one grouping. Okay, another grouping will be the sample. Population and characteristic of interest.
Well, I'm good at that now.
Okay, so then you don't need to worry about that, right?
Good at that.
Okay, so that's why I'm going to give you all options. The third thing that was on your DYU, I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything,
Quantitative
were the types of bias and types of sample. Now when I say types of bias, what do I mean by types of bias? It should be on our proficiency scales. Response, non-response. There's a U one. There's under something. It also should be on our proficiency scales. Undercover's bias, right?
Yeah.
Those are the 3 types of bias, okay? We need to know what bias is. We need to know what the goal of observational studies are, things like that. And in types of sampling, remember, there was convenience, subjective, volunteer, and random. Which of those sampling methods are good sampling methods? Which one?
Random.
Random, right? If it's not random, it's automatically a biased sampling method. We don't want that. Okay? So here's what I want us to do. Here are the 3 major categories I'm thinking about at this point. pick one of these three. I may give y'all 10 minutes at the end to switch to a different group, but pick one of those three that you want to work on, check your understanding right now. So,
3.
quick show of hands, who wants to do categorical versus quantitative and statistical versus non-statistical questions? I will point out, if you haven't mastered these, then the rest of these are kind of hard, so I might start here if you haven't done that. No one wants to work on...
I'll take it first.
Okay, so I got one person. Anyone else want to be working on categorical versus quantitative data? All right, so I got 1, 2, 3. That's it? 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I've got 6 people in this area. All right, who needs to work on identifying the sample, the population, and the characteristic of interest in a study? And this is people who have not voted yet. So I got 1. Who else?
Hey, I'll work also on that too.
No, you got to pick 1 to start.
My fault.
Quick show of hands if you're working on sample, population, and characteristic of interest. I got 1 person earlier. To that? Yeah. Okay, so we got 5 here. So we got how many here? 2? That's it? 3?
Come on, man.
Just 3?
I know y'all need some.
Okay.
I know y'all don't know what y'all
Alright, so is that show of hands then if we're doing types of bias and types of sampling?
I know y'all don't know what y'all need.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. I need that.
Wait, is this
Okay. This is check your understanding questions. So I've got 6. Now I just want to point out that's 14 people and I have 19 in class today. So who has not chosen something yet? Well, yeah, I know you're one of them, Jaden. You haven't chosen. You want number 1? Okay. Malia, what do you need to work on the most? 3, okay? I don't know anybody else who hasn't. That's 16 or 19 though. Alright, this at least tells me where we're going to have people work though. So let's do this. Let's do, Ja, you're number 1, okay. Alright, let's do this then. Let's have the 2 sample, population, and characteristic of interest. By the way, you're going to go back to your groups later. But sample, population, characteristic of interest, that's a Frere model. I want you working back in the ACEs space, okay? Categorical versus quantitative and statistical versus non-statistical questions. I want you to work from this side of the room over, okay? So split up into however you want. You have to work it with at least 1 person. That's the only requirement. You have to work with at least 1 person. So here, over to those whiteboards, that's you. Types of bias, types of sampling. From here, around to the chalkboards, okay? So, how many people do you have to work with? At least 1. Do we want groups bigger than 3?
Yeah.
No. So, I really should just say this. You have to be in a group of 2 or 3. That would be much more clear. My bad. Alright, do we understand? Do we know where we're going, what we're working on?
Yes.
If you are missing any of those materials, please let me know. If you need help finding any of those materials, let me know. You've got 30 minutes. Go.
I need my yellow.
You need your what?
What you call
Actually working through some of these check your understanding questions. Yes, yes, okay. Now, first off, I will try to commit to building more time into doing check your understanding. However, I will point out, could you be doing these on your own time, / should you be doing these on your own time and checking yourself?
I only have time.
Huh?
I only have time.
You don't have time or you don't make time?
I'm working. They have me working till like 2 to 10 or something like that, and I'm not doing it good.
Yeah, that's fair. 2 to 10 every night?
No.
What about the nights you're not doing work?
Oh, today I'm off, but I'm doing my hair. I'm sorry.
Okay, then you're making that choice. Can you let Ivan in, please? Listen, my point is, regardless, okay, hey, listen. My point is, you can make time. And I hear that you're saying, hey, I have work, I have hair stuff. But I would argue, I could be wrong, I would believe that there might be other classes where you have a little bit of downtime, unlike in this class? None at all?
Then I had education, I'm be going with the little kids that ain't teaching.
Okay. Listen, I'm trying to give you a resource. If you don't have time to use those resources, I hate that for you. But for the rest of us, we need to be using these practice assignments. You also, Rihanna, had a pretty decent understanding on the assessment, and we're okay, right? So you were making, huh?
I ain't just dumb in the class.
I never said you were.
No, I'm using.
But my point is you were okay. The rest of us may need to take the time, make the time to do check your understanding questions. Listen, these things are not for kicks and giggles. Like, these things are there to help prepare you to practice the things you need to practice and be prepared for assessments. That's my main point. Again, I'm going to try to give you a little bit of time to practice these things more in class, but take advantage of other classes where you have 5, 10, 15 minutes. I will also say if we stayed more on task instead of visiting our groups, not our groups, visiting our friends and other groups, it might be easier to move quicker so we have more time in class to focus on doing these practice questions. At the end of the day, though, I need you to remember it takes time and effort to practice. So today we may not be working, but we got to take care of our hair. Maybe later in the week when we have a day off, we do the practice assignments.
Oh yeah, I'm doing I'm today.
I hear you. I know, but that's for everybody, not just for Rihanna. You got to do the practice assignments. Okay. By the way, what is the bell ringer when you come into class?
Questions.
Write down questions.
Write down questions, right? Guys, I don't care when you learn it. I do care that you learn it. I don't know where I put the presentation remote. Anybody see it? The black remote?
Back there by over.
Who? Oh,
Her name.
Carly? Man, we are going to start busting out those name cards. We could actually like learn people's names in this class.
I know everybody's name besides folk that don't talk.
Oh my gosh, Rihanna. No need to come at people. Okay, listen.
And my name not Bruno.
It's true. It's not. Okay, right here though. On your vertical surface, write any questions or thoughts you have about the unit based on your proficiency scale. So look at your proficiency scale, see what you know and don't know how to do. Or more importantly, pull a check your understanding question, write that on the board. Guys, if you have not done check your understanding questions on your own time, you don't know what to write on the board. Parker, I'm talking. So make sure that you are actually attempting these questions. Okay? I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have, Dean. When we start working on stuff later, let me know what's giving you trouble so I can answer those questions. But also, if you have a conceptual misunderstanding issues, let me know so I can answer them. If you are practicing and not understanding, let me know so I can answer them. I cannot read your mind, and I promise you, you don't want me to be able to read your mind. That would not work out for any of us, right? There are things that some of y'all are probably thinking about me, about each other, that would not be very kind. And so, reading minds is out. But if you tell me how I can help you, then I can do it. So, take advantage of that. Last thing, at least from the conversations I was hearing, I need to stop talking and listen to this. Do not forget, you have a set of notes and resources to go back to, right? So Dean, I know that you were struggling with the stuff y'all were working on. Did you ever get out the notes that y'all took in class? Could that have been helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I need y'all to understand, like, I'm asking you to write these things down so that you can go back and study them later. There is no question in my mind that it takes time and effort to learn. You can't just show up every day and just expect that to help you master everything. There's a handful of people who can do that. Most people cannot. Take the time to study, take the time to do practice, and you'll be good to go. Again, I want to help you, but I need you to take advantage of those things. All right, so let's go back into experiments versus observational studies. So go back to the group that you started the day in. You need to go ahead and get out the task that says, does SAT prep improve score? So some of us left that on boards, by the way. So like I see one of the bias types practice questions on the board still. You need this? Did you leave it in here? Oh, you can't do that. You weren't here, but I'll give you a copy then. Okay. Hey, who left? Malia, you left this on Friday, so that's you. I don't know who was working on bias types at the front, but you left that up there. Guys, we can't be leaving our materials. Dalton, you left this on Friday. Someone was at this board and left it on Friday. And it was only y'all because my fourth block didn't even get to it. Okay. Hey, Ivan, do you have this paper out yet? No, Ivan, you don't have it out yet. Who else was not here on Friday? Chelsea, you need a copy. Amaya, you need a copy. So, Amaya, you weren't here Friday at all, so you didn't get this, right? Okay. Those are the practice questions for different types of samples. and types of bias.
Man, I hate looking at this paper. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's the, hey, Chelsea, I gave you the wrong one, hold on.
I hate looking at this paper.
That's what we're gonna be getting into in 2 lessons.
Nah, I was like,
There we go. All right. Maya and Chelsea. Okay. So what we're learning, these tasks. So we're going to do a recap of experiments versus observational studies to get us into this idea of does SAT prep improve score? So we need to understand the big idea of experiment versus observational study, but it's going to allow us to then talk about the idea of confounding and the idea of how do we reduce the effects of confounding. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. I need your help on this though.
how you doing?
Oh, I didn't put it in here. Hold on. So let's do this. Let's do a quick recap. I think we did on Friday. Hopefully we have a better understanding. You can't find it?
I just had it this last one.
So when you told me that you had it, you didn't have
I
it?
did have somebody pick my paper wrong. I don't know what they did.
Could this be yours that I found on the floor?
It was right here?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, so this is a recap, but if you did not already know this, it might be something you need to write down somewhere. So goals, when we talk about an observational study, what's the whole goal of an observational study?
What the root, I don't know. Collect data.
Yeah, but it's beyond just collecting data.
What you talking about population?
Something about the population. So here's my population. It's this huge group, right? Say everybody at Hillcrest High School. Hey, Parker, can I collect data from everybody at Hillcrest High School really easily?
I mean, no, not everybody.
Okay, so
People that come in your class, like, yeah.
maybe. But like that's, I mean, how many we got? 1,400 people? Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
At Hillcrest?
Yeah.
So you want to talk to 1,400 people?
I bet there's somebody missing from school.
Thank you,
probably.
Coriana. No, we don't want to talk to 1,400 people. Like that point blank period. There are also people missing from school. My point though is I don't want to talk to the whole population, so what do I need to take? I need to take a sample. Boop. Little sample. And what does this sample let me do? It makes an, we observed to make an inference about the population. Instead of looking at all 1,400 people at school, I could look at say 50 and make a prediction of what is Hillcrest High School students' favorite sport to watch. What is the typical GPA of Hillcrest High School students? What's the typical ACT score of Hillcrest High School students, right? So we take a sample and make an inference about the population, but what can cause bad predictions, bad inferences? Say it louder. Bias.
People lying.
Do you want right now? Quick note.
No, this is a recap, so as a reminder, right? So you should already have all this down somewhere. Okay. So I'm just trying to do a recap. So bias. So for example, if I wanted to know the typical Hillcrest High School ACT score, could I go to all the AP classes and ask those students what their ACT score is? No?
Nah.
Is that not what's typical of Hillcrest High School?
I mean, yeah, you could.
Would students just in AP classes represent everybody at Hillcrest High School?
Ooh, they're smart. Obviously, it's gonna be high.
Well, to be careful, it's not just that they're smart. Like, kids in AP classes work hard.
Exactly.
They work really hard a lot of times, okay? Don't take that away from them. But again, the point is their ACT score going to be representative of the entire population? No. In fact, what type of bias am I introducing there if I only talk to AP students?
Undercoverage.
Undercoverage bias, right? I'm not getting everybody a chance to be selected. I'm not getting students from advanced classes, not even getting students from actual honors classes, just the AP, right? Not getting kids who go take dual classes, not getting students in regular classes. So very biased system. So undercoverage, response, non-response bias are problems. Even the type of sampling can be the problem. What's the only type of sampling that reduces that bias so I can make a good inference? A random sample, right? Where you label the individuals, you use a random number generator to generate a certain number of individuals and then select them. So don't forget the goal, we want to make an inference. But if we don't have random sampling, that inference is garbage. Okay? We want to take a small sample, make an inference about the population. But we ended last week with talking about experiments. What's the goal of an experiment? Whoops, I should have brought that down here. We don't care about an inference of the population anymore. What do we care about? An inference about?
I would take data.
Say again?
Data?
You said data both times. Come on now.
Oh, you know, for
Remember, okay, so first off, let's start here. We have two types of variables. What were they?
The response and,
experiment and
dang. I got an art in,
Say again?
15.
Explanatory. Hey, by the way, y'all do know that there's these yellow proficiency scales that have all these vocabulary terms on them, right? I would always have them out on my desk. Explanatory variables.
man, it's Monday, man. God.
I know. I'm having to reteach you everything that we've learned over the last 2 weeks. So let's have those proficiency scales out. Now, recap. Remember, I'm trying to do a recap here. Remember, we talked about the fact that as ice cream sales go up, what else goes up? Shark attacks, right? But that just means that there is some kind of connection, a correlation. Because there was this extra confounding variable, right? What actually was explaining the shark attacks going up? The summertime, right? The temperature's going up. So we're getting to the summertime, so people are going to the beach more. So they're eating ice cream more and they're getting attacked by sharks more. But that's more because of the time of the year. So an experiment doesn't just want to see a correlation. An experiment wants to find
Evidence.
now we want to reduce confounding to find
Causation.
causation, cause and
Hey, at least I be trying, man.
cause and effect. Thank you. Okay.
Wrong for the past 3 times.
Now we got to remember the two different goals, the two differences. Remember, we have treatments here that we apply to figure out the causation. Okay. All right. So you got to have treatments with an experiment to determine causation, but we're no longer worried about bias because I don't care about an inference to the population in an experiment. What do I care about in an experiment? An inference about? No, that's observational study. In an experiment, I care about an inference for causation, cause and effect. That's it. You've got to remember these two differences between these two different types of studies. An observational study is making an inference about a population. An experiment is making an inference about cause and effect. So, all of that to say, we're still building on these ideas. We should have notes from the last lesson that can help us talk about experimental units and treatments. And we even started this lesson, I think, on Friday in this class. But we're really going to be focusing on the different types of confounding or sources of confounding and how to reduce the effects of those confounding. And anybody see any options on this proficiency scale that might be the ways that we're going to reduce the effects of confounding before I even tell you? See?
I'll have the SAT paper.
Okay. Anybody in the look at the proficiency scale see some hints about ways that we might reduce the effects of confounding, though?
Hey, this Rebecca right here, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You said reduce the,
Reduce the effects of confounding.
Yeah.
So remember, we had to randomly sample to reduce the effects of bias. But when you look up here and you look at your proficiency scale, or you look at your yellow version of the proficiency scale, I just want us to pay attention to these things. What of these might reduce the effects of confounding? Just a prediction. Because we should know what a lot of these terms already are. Well, remember, we're trying to reduce the effects of confounding, right?
Yeah.
So confounding is not going to reduce the effects of confounding. Say again?
Replication.
Replication. Yeah, that might be one of them. Any other guesses?
Oh, you said that one of them?
There's 3 of them, actually.
Survey. Experiment units.
No, we actually talked about experimental units last week.
Control.
Control, direct control of variables. There's one more.
And then regulation.
Say again.
Regulation.
So treatments are necessary for an experiment. Did you say regulation?
I thought that's what it said on the bottom. Random assignment.
Random assignment. Notice that doesn't say random sample. That says random assignment. Very, very similar, very different. You know you have a yellow proficiency scale in your notebook, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help point these things out to help you this be useful. The reason why I'm bringing this up, guys, could you have out your proficiency scales as a reference sheet while we're doing a lesson?
Yes.
Like I'm trying to help you do things to be successful. I would have out a proficiency scale at all times, every day, right on my desk, right next to the lesson we're working on, to have as a reference. Okay, so think about those things. By the way, does anyone remember what the experimental units are?
You said something with people.
Say again.
You said something to do with people.
Yeah, so when experimental units are humans, we call them subjects. Does anyone remember what I meant? I said experimental units were? Okay, so let's go back to the beard situation with Mr. Wilcox. They took, what were the treatments with Mr. Wilcox and his beard? He was trying to grow it, but that was the result. That was the response. What were the treatments that were causing his beard to grow? The oil or no oil, right? So what were the experimental units? What were we applying that oil to? Or not having oil? But what were we applying the oil to? His beard. So what was the experimental unit? His beard. The experimental units, guys, that's what the treatments are being applied to. So I know that's a lot of information, but it should be a recap, bringing all these ideas back together that we discussed last week. So we looked at this last week. How far did we get with this SAT prep improving scores?
Not far.
Not far? Did we just do number one?
I don't think we did number one. We did one on.
I think we did number one because that's what we all feel like observed students.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We talked about it. 'Cause we
So a certain high school offered an after-school
yeah.
SAT prep class that students could volunteer to take. 44 students took the course and then took the SAT. The average SAT score for this group was 1220. The average SAT score for all students who did not take the prep class was 1050. And we said this was an observational study for what reason? Say it louder, Malia. No treatments. They may want to know cause and effect, which is the goal of an experiment, but what do we have to have? We have to have treatments so that we can do what with those dang it, so that we can do what with those treatments? We have to compare. So remember, we have to be able to compare our treatments. If there's no treatments, the researchers are not telling the experimental units what to do. They're just observing. It's not an experiment. Okay? I thought we did all the way through number 3. I'm pretty confident.
No.
You probably went over it on like.
Okay, so let's do this because I think y'all need some more practice with it. I want y'all to go to your vertical surfaces, tackle numbers 2 and 3. I'm going to give y'all 6 minutes with your small group. Man, get upset about it, Parker. Now, pause for 1 second. I need y'all to remember. Do you have to have the right answers?
No.
What do I need you to do?
Or
I need you to
make a mistake.
make a mistake, right? I think it was in this class that I talked about Magic School Bus at the end of the class, right?
Yeah.
We gotta
Get messy.
get, what was the, there was something before get messy,
It was
I thought.
something get messy.
So make mistakes.
Make mistakes, so result. I really need to remember this. I've seen it way too much recently. Did you know my son loves Magic School Bus? I love it. All right, take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. Okay, so let's go to our vertical surfaces. Let's take some chances, let's make some mistakes, and let's get messy. You don't have to have the right answer, but I need y'all to come up with some ideas. Use your old resources. That's fine, you can erase that. 3, 2, 1, go! Come on, John, we gotta take chances, get messy, make some mistakes. focus on the ideas, but come on, walking up this way, engaging. All of the good people joined up to the front, right, KB? All right. So, first things first, as we talked about, Carly, you can get closer, Jaden, you can get a little bit closer to the action. You don't have to be like hiding in the back like a cool guy. All right, Abby, Malia, Maya, come on. So, we talked about it. If we're trying to ID the explanatory and response variable, this is a note that in a second, so not yet, but a note in a second that I might make is this. One, identify all variables. Notice, I'm not saying identify explanatory and response first. I think part of the problem some of us had is we weren't even sure what the variables were. Take the time to identify the variables. And when I say variables, what do I mean by variables? But I'm not talking about explanatory and response, I'm just talking about variables.
If the students took the ACT score and then out of school.
So that's for this problem, but I just mean like variables in general. Like what is a variable? Something that is, and let's say instead of something, let's say a characteristic. And when you say vary, like what's a more common word, characteristic? What's a more common word that you would probably use than vary? If something can vary, it can change, right? A variable is a characteristic that can change. Like when we say variable, that's what we mean. And when we talk about categorical and quantitative data, we're talking about categorical and quantitative variables. Characteristics that can change. So then, after that, determine which is explanatory and response. Okay, so this is not a set of notes that I was planning on taking, but if I were you, these are some notes I would add on to this sheet when I tell you to go and take notes in a second. So remember, you don't need to take notes yet. I need you engaging your brain and thinking about the things we're talking about. Then we'll take notes, but determine explanatory versus response. So, going to what y'all wrote, explanatory. The students that took the class versus the students who didn't. So, I will say this is actually going to be a little bit closer to a treatment. So what is the variable here? Taking an SAT prep class. And these aren't quite treatments yet, but it's closer to that, whether you took an SAT prep class or not. It could be yes or no, okay? Response variable is the what? SAT score. Isn't that responding to whether you took the class or not? Yes. And we do see evidence. I need you all to hold on to this. Do we see evidence that the score went up?
I said over there because it might not help everybody.
Well, but hold on to that idea. That's not the question. But those who didn't take the class scored a what? 1050 or 1050, right? Those who took the class had what average? 1220. Now, I want to talk about what Parker just said. He said no because it doesn't necessarily help everyone.
Say you put me in there, you pay attention.
Okay, but here's the thing. I understand what Parker's saying, but one of the major tenets of statistics is the idea of variability. Did we ever say it was going to help everybody? No. We're just looking at the average. On average, was the average score higher over here? Yes. So, is there evidence that that prep class is causing a higher score?
Yes.
Yes, there is evidence. Now, but here's what I need us to understand. One, this answer is based on logic. Not, and this is what I need you to focus on, not on data and study design. That's a problem. We don't want to just base it on logic. We want to base it on good study design, because actual good study design is good logic when we understand how to use it, okay? So we're just kind of thinking logically, well, that's not going to help everyone. Well, first off, that's true. Variability exists. Second off, I don't want to use logic, I want to use study design. Right here and over there. So The king said no because this is not a what? An experiment. Guys, remember, what do you have to have in order to establish causation? An experiment with what? With treatments. I think Carly wrote this up here, I could be wrong, but I love this language. We can't determine causation without comparing treatments, without experiment. Guys, if you don't have treatments, you can't establish causation. So, Parker, were you right about the no? Yes. But we have to understand it's more because we don't have treatments to compare. Because number 3, actually, is it number, I see that shoot real quick. Yeah, number 4 is where we're going to get into this. Here's the reason why, and this is what I talked about with one group already. Are there any other variables that are related to whether you take the class or not and are predictive of your SAT success? So this goes into the no, right? So I'm going to put this over to here. So another, no, come back, variable associated with taking the class and explaining. Did someone hit the slides? Is that what happened?
Anybody touch your laptop?
Because the slides don't magically disappear, guys. Okay? So another variable associated with taking class and explaining score is what? What can explain whether you take the class or not and what score you get?
Wait, huh?
What's a variable that is associated with whether you take the class or not, but can also help predict you having a higher score?
What's a class? Like,
That's not what I asked at all. What is another variable associated with taking the class and predictive score? What? But why would someone, okay, so think along the lines of volunteers. Why would someone volunteer to take the class?
because they actually like.
They probably never help to get better grades.
Okay, so someone who is more academically motivated?
Yeah.
So is academic motivation. Okay. Is that a variable? Is that a characteristic that is changing from one person to the next?
Probably.
I mean, is everyone in here have the same academic motivation?
No.
Or are some people more motivated than others? Yes, Mr. Kenny, some people are more motivated than others.
Yeah.
Correct, that is 100% accurate. Look, academic motivation matters. If you are more motivated, you are more likely to take the class, right?
Yes.
Okay. And if you are more motivated, are you more likely to have a higher score?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a variable. That is a variable that is messing up my understanding of causation. What do I call this type of variable?
Academic motivation.
There's a type of variable that we talked about last week that's on the proficiency scale. That is the issue in experiments that can prevent accurate understanding of causation.
Explanatory. Yeah.
Unexplanatory, not random.
Response.
Nope.
No response.
I think someone just said it.
No response.
What was it? No.
Control. No response.
Compounding.
Confounding.
Hey, I just said it.
I don't think you did, but So it's cool if you lie, I understand. Okay, listen guys. Academic motivation is a confound. That is a variable that is associated with whether you take the class. If you are highly motivated, you're more likely to take the class. And if you're highly academically motivated, you're probably also going to have a higher score.
Yeah.
That's a confound. Did the researchers do anything to reduce the effects of these confounds?
No.
Not at all. So I don't understand causation well. Here's what I want you to do. First, I want you to write down whatever extra notes in purple up here you need to for numbers 2 and 3. And then I want you to look at number 4. And on number 4, I need you to think about other potentially confounding variables. So we only have 5 minutes, so write down your notes, think about those potentially confounding variables, and we'll pick back up there tomorrow. So, you got 5 minutes to take those notes. Actually, write it down. No, we're not on quick notes yet. Guys, these notes would, at the purple would be extra notes to go under numbers 2 and 3.
So we can write them on.